Thanks for tuning in to Ravenlore. This is cover to cover. We're going to continue our read through of Howls in the Night. This is part 1, starting the adventure. Starting the adventure. In this first section, the heroes arrive at Mordenshire and learn of the hounds that terrorize the town before facing the Bog Hounds themselves. The party can begin the adventure either inside of the demiplane or in their own world. If the heroes begun outside the misty borders, it is a simple matter to bring them to Mordenshire. The DM can simply read or paraphrase the following text, modifying it where necessary to fit into the ongoing campaign. As you trudge down the road, the land is cast in shadow as thick clouds veil the setting sun. A chill wind rises suddenly, blowing in your face, chafing with its force. In minutes, the sun is entirely hidden, and the countryside is plunged into darkness. The wind rises in a lonely canine howl, then dies, just as abruptly as it begun. The night falls still, not a breath of a breeze. After a bit, the rising moon peeks through the veil of the clouds, but a mantle of mist rises from the damp ground beside the road. With preternatural speed, the fog thickens into a cotton gray, obscuring sight beyond 20 feet. Sounds are likewise muffled in the thick mist. As the minutes pass, the fog thins and then dissipates, revealing an unfamiliar land from the one that you saw before the fog. Dozens of yards ahead, past the flanking farmlands, you see the lights of a town gleaming through the night. Beyond the town comes the sound of waves crashing upon a rocky shoreline. If the heroes are already in Ravenloft, but nowhere near Mordenshire, the mist transport them to the town as described above. If the heroes are in the vicinity, they find that their road takes some unexpected twist leading them to the town. Regardless, the heroes find themselves entering Mordenshire at night, or just as the sun is setting and people are hurrying home. These folk all seem to be fishers, farmers, or spouses of those who toil on land or sea. They are rough, weather-bitten people who have no time to waste. The locals give the heroes glances of mild curiosity, but none stop to ask the heroes what they are doing in this town, since the locals are intent on getting home before the deep of the night. If there are demi-humans with the party, the village people simply give the party a wider berth, steering clear to make sure of avoiding contact with the group. The people of the town talk to the party if the heroes can catch their attention. The people of the town talk to the party if the heroes can catch their attention. The people are friendly if somewhat rough around the edges, and they can tell the heroes general information about the town, as well as the name of the local inn most likely to help welcome adventuring types. The Bleached Mermaid. The rest of the town offers services one might expect from a town of 2,000, including a blacksmith with no great talent, several taverns, a general store, and no more. The people of the town keep mostly to themselves, preferring not to socialize with the heroes. The Bleached Mermaid. The tavern is an island of warmth amid an autumn breeze blowing off the sea. Dressed in mahogany and brass, the whole bar has a nautical decor. A roaring blaze in the fireplace dispels the chill of the night. The patrons of the bar are, for the most part, grizzled seafaring types. All 15 of them glance up briefly as the heroes enter, then turn back to their business almost immediately. The innkeeper is a white-haired, bushy-bearded man named Captain Garrett Nancy. The captain, as he prefers to be called, serves the heroes with a smile. He hovers nearby to speak with them. As a non-native to Morden, the captain finds that much of the townfolk do not speak to him as much as he would like, and he certainly enjoys hearing tales of the outside world. Indeed, if the heroes can tell him some interesting news, he buys them the first round of drinks. Even if they don't, he settles down to swap stories with the party, recognizing in them kindred spirits filled with wanderlust. If the heroes are looking for a place to spend the night, He can offer them some clean rooms for a mere 5 silver pieces per person. Supper will cost 1 gold piece. As the heroes settle down to enjoy the evening, a few more people arrive. The captain then closes the bars and the door. He gives the heroes a warm smile as he does so, telling them, "The night ain't safe." After a short time, he returns to their table and says, "Mayhap barring a door at night seems a bit queer to you. Let me tell you why I do it. Here in Mordenshire, the night is full of strange things. The house on Griffin Hill? Well, that's only one of the places said to be haunted. Still, as they say around here, if you don't bother evil, it won't bother you. But all that's begun to change recently. Do you hear that howling?" Above the moan of the wind, you can hear the sound of dogs baying. The sound is faint, but it sends shiver along your spine. "Aye, those hounds prowl the countryside at night in Mordenshire. They haven't worked up the gumption to come down here into the town, but they've been harrying the outlying farms, killing those who wander abroad in the night, making everyone afraid to travel after sunset. The strange thing is that they never come out during the day. Nobody's ever seen one in the sunlight. What this town needs is someone to get rid of those dogs. Everyone here would gladly reach into their purses and raise money for the bounty hunters to get rid of those beasts. Now you seem more daring than the rest of the folks hereabout. Better suited for danger, if I read you all right. You interested?" Simply by passing a bowl among those at the inn, all of whom look like they're ready to spend the night here rather than wander out into the darkness, the captain gathers a bounty pot of 100 gold pieces, surely enough to persuade someone to take on a pack of hungry dogs. If this is not enough for the party, the captain promises to check with the mayor the next day to try and get the town to throw some money into the pot to sweeten the deal. If the heroes are eager to leave in the night to hunt the hounds, the captain won't unbar the door, but he will offer the heroes room and board for the night, as well as breakfast, to ensure that they can begin the hunt well fed and rested. If the party insists on heading out this night, they will find a hostile crowd of locals bearing the way. If the heroes sneak out during the night, proceed to part 2, changing references from day to the night, and have the heroes encounter the sheriff as his men near the bog. If the heroes decide to sleep, their dreams are plagued by an enormous black mastiff, a dog larger and fiercer than any that they have seen. Tell any player who asks about the dream that the vision of this dog is no doubt caused by the incessant howling of the hounds in the night. Then smile as if you know better. The next day, the weather is full of foul portent. During the day, a thick fog has rolled in off the ocean, pressing against the windows of the inn as if eager to enter. The embers of the night's fire still warm the now empty common room. Those who spent the night have left to get to the day's work. True to his word, the captain has a fine breakfast spread out for the heroes. After the heroes have eaten their fill and shoved their plates away, a boy bursts into the inn's door. Panting and out of breath, he shouts, "Shepherd Dawson's been killed!" The hunt. The local sheriff and some of his deputies arrive close on the lad's heels. A crowd of people begins to gather outside. The sheriff eyes the heroes and the innkeeper, and then declares, "The mayor has authorized me to deputize all the available able-bodied folk of the village and put an end to these hounds. We're going to search out these dogs' lair. They've killed one of the shepherds, and he'll be the last to die if I have anything to say in the matter." The sheriff is not looking for arguments. He will reply to any questions the heroes might have about the case. He doesn't have many answers, though, and he will not take much time to satisfy the party's curiosity. After all, he does have a hunt to organize. He knows that the dogs have become bolder, entering the fields around the very town, and they have claimed their first victim last night. He has not yet been out to examine the body, as he begun organizing the search party as soon as he heard of the atrocity. He also knows the lay of the land. He tells the heroes to follow him as he heads out the door. If the party does not comply, the sheriff at first tries to reason with them. Failing that, he then tells them that he'll have them thrown in jail if they cannot find it in themselves to do the decent thing and come out and aid the town. He is perfectly serious in this threat and will have the party bound by the mass of people outside, their equipment confiscated until they decide to aid the town. The sheriff is initially polite, but the reports of the day are already wearing on his nerves, and he does not want more trouble on his hands. When the heroes accept, the sheriff leads the group of deputies, about 100 strong, towards the shepherd's house. All the townsfolk are strangely quiet. The sheriff invites the heroes to walk with him. As they walk through the fog, the heroes can question him about the land. The sheriff is amiable, though clearly upset about the killings. He can tell them the story of Burton Westcott, the bare facts from the introduction, as well as any rumors, clues, or red herrings that you wish to give the players. The sheriff tells the heroes that the Westcote Manor House is a few miles to the northeast, but the hunt shouldn't take them that far. Eventually, the hunters arrive at the site of Shepherd Dawson's cottage. It is a ramshackle little place, badly weathered by the harsh climate of the sea. The building is secure and holds no clues within it as to what might have killed the shepherd. Around the back of the building are the sheep's pens, which are strangely silent. Once the characters round the cottage, they can see why. Every single sheep had its throat torn out. Lying in the middle of the pen is the body of a middle-aged man. "Somebody's got a morbid sense of humor," the sheriff says. He gestures toward the body of the shepherd. The man's throat has been torn open by some creature. Jagged tears surround the wound. Standing over the corpse is a straw sculpture of a dog. A large hound patched together with mud. There's blood dripping from the thorny teeth of the figure. As you look, an icy blast of wind blows the beast apart, scattering the straw and leaving only a few blood-stained stalks of hay to mark where it once stood. If the heroes check for tracks, they find something rather odd. Both the hounds and the shepherd's prints clearly lead to this spot, but there are no other prints to indicate that the statue was placed there by a third party. If the heroes do not check this obvious clue, one of the other deputies points it out to them. The sheriff is befuddled by this once it is pointed out, but he takes charge quickly. He divides the hunting party into groups no larger than 8 people. He then tells each group to form a line. He assigns the heroes to follow the tracks back to their source, and tells the others to fan out in an effort to pick up the tracks. The trail the heroes are to follow heads northwest toward Westcott Manor. The sheriff remarks upon this, saying, "Perhaps they lie in the bog near the manor." His manner is uneasy, and he looks about the area as if he were expecting an attack at any time. "I wish this blasted fog would clear. It was gone for a short time this morning, but it really has come back with a vengeance. It'll make the tracking harder. We're going to have a system to keep track of each other. Any suggestions?" The sheriff gives the heroes an opportunity to suggest some method of communication. If no one suggests anything, the captain suggests that they call out every few minutes so no one gets lost. Using a rope will only permit one group of 8 to be tied together. Once the method has been agreed upon, the hunt sets out. It's a good thing the sheriff insists for communication, for the visibility out here is limited to about 20 feet. The heroes cannot even make out the group next to theirs, but communication flows well, with the shouts coming up and down the line every few minutes. Still, the whole hunting party is spread out, becoming more and more dispersed. Suddenly, a mournful yowling rises. It sounds as if scores of dogs are howling in unison. The eerie sound of the dog grows louder and louder as the sounds of the other hunting party groups diminishes. Suddenly, there are screams of pain and surprise in the distance, as well as the bays of the hunting dogs. It sounds as though another group of the deputies is being attacked. If the heroes go to investigate, they find that the fog has confused their sense of direction, muffling the sound and making it seem as though it's coming from someplace entirely different. Once the heroes go and aid the rest of the deputies, they find themselves winding their way deeper and deeper into the bog, drawn closer to a meeting with Bert and Westcott. No matter which way they go, the fog confuses them and leads them towards the manor. If the heroes opt not to go to the raid of the rest of the hunting party, or if they stay in one place, they are hunted by a pack of bog hounds that pick up their scent. The heroes become aware that they are being hunted when howls sound nearby, seemingly within 30 feet. However, because of the density of the fog, the heroes can see nothing. The sound carries well, though it reveals nothing of the direction of the source, and the heroes can hear the panting of several hounds and the padding of their feet. Once the hounds have surrounded the heroes, they fall silent and close in, baying suddenly only when the heroes can see them. The heroes and other characters may be required to make fear checks when they see the eyeless dogs looming out of the fog. Bog Hounds 10, Intelligence Semi, Alignment Neutral Evil, Armor Class 5, Movement 15, Hit Die 2+2, Hit Points 16 each, Thaco 19, Number of Attacks 3, Damage 1-4, 1-4, 1-6, Size medium, ML 15, XP 15, XP 65 each. The hounds fight to the death. They have no life for which to be careful. When they are destroyed, they revert to the mud and straw from which they were formed. The mist that provides them life drifts away, unseen in the thick fog. The heroes may have to make a fear check when the creatures die and transform into straw and muck. This is a one-time check, for the heroes will become acclimated to this after they have faced the creatures once. During the battle, the hounds force the heroes towards the bog. Proceed to Part 2, Bog, Take Your Bones.